Good morning and welcome to Health Talk, sponsored by Mon General Hospital. This program is designed to provide education on vital health topics to help you take charge of your health. You'll also be introduced to Mon General's committed physicians, allied healthcare professionals, and quality programs and services. And now, here are your Health Talk hosts, Kay Murray and Jim Stallings.
How often do you get ready to go to bed and you say to yourself, I'm going to get a full night's sleep tonight. I know I am. And then you go to bed and you look at the clock and it's already 12:30. Now it's 1:30 and you haven't fallen asleep yet. What's the problem? Why aren't you getting the amount of sleep that you would like or deserve? We're talking about sleep deprivation today here on the Health Talk program, brought to you by Mon General Hospital. I'm Jim Stallings along with Kay Murray. Good morning, Kay.
Good morning, Jim. And there's a couple ways to look at that. Some people go to bed, fall asleep immediately. Other people, they just wake up in the middle of the night. They just do different things. I can't go to sleep. That's my problem.
With us in the studio this morning is Brad Weaver. He's director of the Sleep Center at Mon General Hospital, a registered polysomnographic technologist.
Polysomnographic.
Oh, man.
Why? Oh, why?
And here's one of those things. I'm going to practice this word, and I did. I'm going to say it out loud 5 or 6 times. I did.
Polysomnographic.
And when it came time to say it live on the air, I didn't.
Polysomnographic. We didn't have any sleep last night trying to learn that word.
You know, I think most of us probably don't get enough sleep. Don't you think, Brad?
Yeah, I think that's true. Mostly because, one, it's like many things in our society today we just take for granted.
Yeah, and I think that we watch TV perhaps at night and want to stay up towards the end and have to get up early. Do most of us need 8 hours, or do sometimes we adjust, our bodies adjust, and 6 hours is just fine for us, or 5 hours or 4 hours just fine for us? We're living with it.
Yeah, well, and I think everybody is different, but it does. We do require at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep to be able to function normally through the waking hours.
I think a lot of people are using aids today to get to sleep.
Yeah, and unfortunately, even in the medical community today, if you go into your physician and you're having problems sleeping, they have a tendency to want to put you on something to help you sleep, as opposed to finding out what the underlying cause is for not being able to sleep.
A lot of over-the-counter stuff too.
Yeah, that's true.
But I did explain at the beginning there, I see two different problems. Some people cannot fall asleep. Some people can go right to sleep when they go to bed. Then they wake up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then they can't turn it off and go back to sleep. Mm-hmm. Do you see that? Yeah,
we do. And there are many types of insomnia. And again, it's misdiagnosed or undiagnosed, and oftentimes we confuse insomnia with other underlying sleep disorders like sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, periodic limb movements, these type disorders.
So how do we start preparing ourselves for a good night's sleep? We want this to change tonight.
Yeah, and I think that is key for everyone, is to, we call it sleep hygiene, and it is preparing yourself for a good night's sleep. So you don't want to eat just before going to bed. But at the same time, you don't.
Hungry,
that's correct. You don't want to go to bed hungry, but you don't want to sit down and eat a full meal and then go to bed.
So a full meal, how much time do we really need? 2 hours, 3 hours between the meal and going to bed, you think?
Yeah, probably 2 hours. That's what it takes for us to digest our food, is about 2 hours. So
this also means not a bowl of ice cream or some yogurt or anything before bed.
Right, that's correct.
No crackers in bed.
Warm
no
milk?
Crackers.
Warm milk. Where did this come from? Warm milk.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of
babies.
Yeah.
Dairy Association.
Thanks, Greg. Get back
exactly.
to sleep.
All right, so the sleep hygiene part. So don't eat before bed. Give yourself a couple of hours after that dinner or supper. And what else?
Don't exercise prior to going to bed. That gets our adrenaline up. If you've ever exercised and then try to lay down, it's very difficult to fall asleep. Really need to just cut the day's problems off before you go to bed at night. Just like Kay said, oftentimes people lay there and think about things that happen throughout the course of the day, and they don't go to sleep. Unfortunately, when you don't go to sleep, your wake time doesn't change. For everybody that has to go to school or has to work, if you have to get up at 7 o'clock, and that doesn't change for you. So
There's one idea we've heard so many times, and I just can't buy it, Brad. And That is, keep the same schedule all the time, even on the weekends. If you go to bed at 10 o'clock through the week, go to bed at 10 o'clock on the weekends, get up at the same time. So many people like to take a couple extra hours on the weekends, but you're saying is that the thing? Stay on the schedule all the time?
Yeah,
I don't like
if
that.
you can do this, and the ones who have most difficult time doing that is shift workers. Midnight shift workers, if they're on the midnight shift permanently, they still should keep that same schedule on their days off. And it's very difficult. If you've ever worked midnight shift, you know when you have your first day off, you try to stay up all day and go to sleep at night, and then it's only 2 days and you're going back to midnight shift. So it's very difficult.
Because I think there is something to setting your body clock. I think, for instance, on a weekend when I don't have to get up at 4:15 in the morning, oftentimes I will get up at that time anyway because my body clock tells me it's time to get up. I've been doing it for 23 years. Is there something to that, the body clock?
Yeah, without a doubt. I just came back from California, so my normal wake time here is 6 a.m. Every day in California, I was up at 3 a.m. It made for long days.
Other than that, I mean, they start their football games at 10 a.m. on Sundays over there, so that's weird. That's weird too. Well, okay, what about alcohol? What about, you know what? I'm going to do a shot, or I'm going to have a couple of beers, or I'm going to get that alcohol in me to help me go to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another misconception. People do drink alcohol thinking that they will sleep better, and it is true for about the first hour. And then alcohol actually has a reverse effect on that, and you typically will wake up and not be able to sleep throughout the rest of the night.
Brad, talk about and give us some idea of symptoms if we're sleep deprived. Give us some ideas of what we're going to feel like.
When you suffer from sleep deprivation, and many folks out there may know this already, it's 17 hours of being awake is equal to a blood alcohol of 0.05, which is legally intoxicated. And if you've ever been under the influence of alcohol, sleep deprivation has very similar effects. Your reaction time is slower. You don't think as clearly. Your memory's not as good.
So that's why the students are setting fires and keeping up to parties. They're just not sleeping enough. They're studying too much, and that's what happens. It's not the alcohol.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's just a thought, Brad, that popped into my mind.
If you have any questions about sleep deprivation, some of the routines that you think you might need to get into to help you benefit by getting more sleep, you can give us a call at 304-296-0041. There's so many more questions Kay and I have for Brad. For instance, these 5-hour energy drinks. Some people drink a couple of those a day.
And more about sleep aids.
And within 5 hours. We're going to be back in just a moment. You're listening to Health Talk, brought to you by Mon General on WAJR.
This is Mon General's Health Talk, providing the information you need to take charge of your health. Call us now with your health-related questions at 304-296-0041.
Imagine going to bed, putting your head on the pillow, closing your eyes.
I got it. I feel it.
Next thing you know, you're starting to drift off, and you're starting to begin that dream. And
I'm going.
Next thing you know, a text message comes in on your phone next to the bed, and it wakes you right out of that.
Or the alarm goes off for no reason, or someone calls. Just many reasons why our sleep would be interrupted.
Now, with us this morning,
I've just closed my eyes again.
Is
Wake up, Brad.
Dream Weaver. And he's director of the Sleep Center at Mon General Hospital. So tell me about this sleep center. Is it like a planetarium?
I don't know.
Where
Keep
we
that song going.
go into a room and we can see the stars up on the ceiling. Meanwhile, you're connecting probes to our head and measuring our biorhythm.
No, seriously. What do you do over there? How do you make it all happen, Brad?
Basically, we have what we call a closed center. So patients are referred into the sleep center to see a sleep specialist. We have 2 sleep specialists on the panel, Dr. Stephen Maxwell and Dr. Andrzej Jaworski. They're both well known in the community. They practice pulmonary medicine and critical care medicine. But you come into the center, see them initially for a consult, go through a series of questions to identify, if you have a sleep issue and what it might be, and then what to do to further investigate. We do diagnostic and treatment studies in the sleep center where patients will come in and spend the night with us. We monitor the brain activity, oxygen, heart, limb movements, many facets of body functions.
I've often wondered, let me just interrupt you.
Oh, that's okay.
How one would fall asleep in a setting like that, because you have people watching you, they're monitoring you. How would you fall asleep? Seriously, I wouldn't know how you could do
And
that.
that is probably the most common question and concern, but folks with sleep disorders oftentimes don't have a problem falling asleep anywhere, so they can come in and we hear that all the time. Well, I'll never sleep. I can come in there, but I'll never sleep. 10 minutes after they're in bed, they're sound asleep.
Maybe the sound of the ocean in there, birds singing.
Yeah, no, and we don't have TVs in the room. That's one of the things, even in this sleep hygiene at home. The one thing we know, again, is if you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't go to sleep, turn the TV on, you get interested in something, all of a sudden another hour has passed. You still have to get up at 7 a.m., so you've just lost an additional hour of sleep.
Then why do people tend to fall asleep on the couch in front of the TV?
Well, and that's part of this whole sleep hygiene process. If you get sleepy, you should go to bed. It's that simple.
Wake up and go to bed.
Wake up and go to bed.
Isn't that crazy when you fall asleep in the chair or fall asleep in the recliner, you get up and go to bed, and then you can't fall back asleep in the bed?
Well, yeah, and the reason being, depending on how long you have fallen asleep, we go through stages of sleep, and if you hit REM sleep, which is a very deep sleep, a very important sleep because it's what adjusts our body functions for the waking hours, but if you get to that point and you wake up, you're going to feel rested and you're going to have a difficult time going back to sleep for a little while.
When you're dreaming a lot, are you in a better sleep than if you're not dreaming? I always wondered about that because sometimes if I get the best night's sleep, it seems like I've dreamed a lot that night.
Yes, that's exactly true because you dream in REM sleep,
Okay.
which is, again, a very, very deep sleep. In fact, it's one of the questions we ask folks, do you dream? Because typically if they don't dream, it's because they're not getting those deep, restful sleep
What about
stages.
nightmares? I mean, if you have a lot of nightmares, does that mean your sleep's not as sound?
Not necessarily.
Does that just mean you have head problems?
No, not necessarily. Folks oftentimes confuse nightmares, night terrors, and then just dreaming. And they do occur in different stages of sleep. For an example, REM sleep is a sleep that we dream in, and in REM sleep, your body's paralyzed. So if you ever had a dream somebody was chasing you, you couldn't run, it's because you couldn't run. You're really paralyzed. But night terrors occur in what we call slow wave or delta sleep, and you're not paralyzed. So that's why folks can act out a night terror as opposed to a dream.
I think a lot of accidents along the road tend to be people that get sleepy and they don't pull over and they actually fall asleep at the wheel. And you may say to yourself, I could never do that, but I have done that. I've fallen asleep, and thank goodness that sound on the side, and it makes you realize how fast it can happen. And with truck drivers on the road and driving long periods of time. So talk a little bit about driving when we're sleepy.
Yeah, and it is a major, major concern. Some statistics say that 60+% of truck drivers have sleep apnea. If you have sleep apnea, you're going to be sleep deprived. There are some estimated 5,000 deaths per year in truck-related accidents in the United States. Hundreds of thousands of injuries, and this number is staggering, but in actual cost, property damage, fatalities, lost wages, over $1 billion just in the trucking industry.
When I go past a truck at 5 a.m. on Interstate 68 coming into work, I think, I wonder when that guy went to bed last night. If he's out here on the highway in the middle of West Virginia at 5 a.m., who knows where he started, but I hope he got enough sleep. I mean, you just never know. And when it comes to these 5-hour energies and these, everybody likes the energy drinks now. Some people like them with vodka, hopefully not while driving. But when you rely on these things, I know some people, it's like when the 5 hours is over or even 4 hours is over, boom, there's another one. That seems to me like it's covering up a problem.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And what a lot of folks don't realize, even if they have a 5-energy drink or some of the other medications prescribed or not prescribed in some cases to help you stay awake, you may be awake, but your body function and your reaction times and all these things are still delayed. So it is a major problem.
Driving a 55-foot trailer and going down the mountain and sleep deprived, man, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's no way of testing somebody at an accident scene if they were sleeping. The one thing we know, and right here, if you look on the interstate at some of the most severe accidents we've had, there's no skid marks or anything like that. We can almost guarantee you that person probably fell asleep driving.
Well, I think a lot of us are probably like jerked just for a second when we're driving on a long trip or something. Especially seems to me when I go up in elevation, I go, oh man, I'm tired all of a sudden. But all of us, is that a warning sign? Perhaps, I guess it is. We shouldn't be kind of drifting off for a second.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. And we call that micro sleep. If you've ever been driving down the interstate and you passed something but you don't really remember it, obviously you had to pass it because of where you're at. It's micro sleep, and it's those times, and it is just milliseconds that you can be involved in an accident.
We're going to take a break. Your phone calls are welcome this morning. We're talking about sleep deprivation. Did somebody say REM? Oh, not the band REM. You're probably talking about rapid eye movement, a stage of sleep. We're going to take a break. It's 8:53, listening to Health Talk on WHAR.
The doctors, the latest news and procedures. Your local health connection is Mon General's Health Talk. If you'd like to be on the show, call 304-296-0041.
He's director of the Sleep Center at Mon General Hospital, a registered polysomnographic technologist. Woo! Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, he is Brad. All right, just a few minutes left in the program.
Yeah, before we run out of time, I do want to talk about these sleeping aids because so many people, you might say even are hooked on them, the Ambien, the Lunesta, and just some reports out that they can be dangerous.
Yeah, without a doubt, and it was never designed for those medicines to be used in a long-term type situation. And the bottom line is, if you're having problems sleeping, you need to find out why. And a perfect example, and we see this oftentimes, is the individual's given a sleep aid, and maybe they have sleep apnea. So if that's not corrected, and now we're giving them an aid to help them sleep, which is really compromising the problem. So,
yeah. And in a lot of cases, we really don't need that aid. We've just psyched ourselves out to think that we do.
Yeah, exactly. It does create an addictive behavior that's more psychological than actual addiction, like maybe someone's addicted to alcohol or drugs, something like that.
So when people come to the sleep center and they leave, you have success stories?
Oh yeah, and it's actually my background is respiratory therapy, and unfortunately we take people who take care of people who are chronically ill, and the end result unfortunately isn't always good. In sleep medicine, that's not the case, and you can almost see it from the time they're treated with their sleep disorder and they're actually sleeping till they come back in for their follow-up. They're a changed person. It's a life-changing type treatment.
So we want to let our listeners know then how to get a hold of you or how to contact the sleep center, because we know somebody, or perhaps ourselves, we need some help.
Yeah, and our number, it's the Sleep Center of Mon General at 99 J.D. Anderson Drive. Of course, 304-599-7934.
All right. And you ready to see new patients?
Oh, most definitely.
All right. So think about it, folks. If you didn't get enough sleep, and if this is a common occurrence every single night, you're just not getting enough sleep and you think you need some help, then certainly Mon General Hospital can help you. You've been listening to Health Talk on WHAR with Brad Weaver. For Kay Murray, I'm Jim Stallings. We're going to be back in just a few minutes after the news with Morgantown AM, the talk of the town, on 1440 WHAR.